All of the right ingredients are currently being thrown into the Solana ecosystem. It has the technology, it has the community, it has the developers, and as a result of that, even though the crypto markets have experienced the summer slide, the Solana ecosystem has remained pretty buoyant throughout. Now, the tricky thing is that there are hundreds of applications being built within the Solana ecosystem, and that means that there are hundreds of secondary beta tokens that you could invest in for potentially bigger upside returns than just investing in Solana, for example, the native token SOL. But which projects in the Solana ecosystem give you the highest probability of coming out ahead at the end of this bull market? And for me, one of the best answers to that question are DEXs. If people are interacting with the Solana ecosystem, they will need DEXs to swap Solana-native coins and tokens. And usually, the more use that a DEX gets, the higher the price of the native token will go. So the thesis is this: if the Solana ecosystem continues to grow and people need to use DEXs, then those native coins associated with the DEX should grow in parallel. But there are so many DEXs in the Solana ecosystem that it's our job as crypto investors to decide which ones have the best potential upside. So for the first half of this two-part Solana DEX series, I want to look at a relatively new option on the block that is currently ranked in the top 100 on Coinmarketcap. And if you haven't guessed it from that, I want to take a closer look at Jupiter and its native token JUP. Now, before I dive into Jupiter, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button down below, and I would love to have you as a subscriber on the channel. And of course, if you don't want to miss out on any content like this in the future, hit the bell notification icon down below too. And as always, I want to remind you that if you're looking for an ally to help you navigate the crypto markets, then my 80/20 crypto newsletter, which is completely free, is open to you. We cover the week's fundamental signals, separating the signals from the noise because there is so much noise in this market. We do altcoin deep dives such as this video, and we also look at portfolio boost tips. So if that sounds of interest to you, the link to that will be in the description down below. And with that, let's get started on Jupiter. Now, at its core, Jupiter is a decentralized exchange. It's a DEX, that's what it's known as. But simply calling it a DEX is probably doing it a slight disservice, as there is a plethora of functionality that goes beyond simply swapping tokens. So actually, at its heart, it is a liquidity aggregator, which means that it can pull liquidity from all corners of the Solana ecosystem. And that includes the likes of Radium, Serum, Orca, and this helps the exchange offer the best exchange rates for end users. So actually, at its heart, it is a liquidity aggregator, which means that it can pull liquidity from all corners of the Solana ecosystem, including other DEXs such as Radium and Orca, and this helps the exchange offer the best exchange rate for end users. However, in addition to just simply swapping tokens, which is the screen behind me here, there are a range of other services offered by Jupiter. So if you'd rather not trade the spot markets, there's an option here behind me to trade perpetual futures, and this allows you to go both long and short the market. Then jumping back across to the spot markets, you can set limit orders. You can also DCA into the market, so you can dollar cost average into different altcoins at set periods with a set amount of capital. There is also a cross-chain bridge, which allows you to bridge non-native tokens into the Solana ecosystem, which helps the functionality of the Jupiter exchange. And then finally, there is a ape platform, which is all about meme coins. And this is something that was recently released by Jupiter, and it's piggybacking off the meme coin mania that we've seen go crazy over the last couple of months. And this is an easy to use platform for people that want access to meme coins on the Solana ecosystem. Now, for a little background, the Jupiter exchange was first launched in 2021 by Raccoon Labs, which is headed by a developer that goes by the pseudonym of Meow. Now, I didn't manage to find his actual name, but we have got his Twitter profile here. So this is his Twitter profile. He is the head lead developer of the Jupiter exchange. And although I had trouble finding his name, he does happily conduct interviews with many other individuals in the ecosystem, in the Solana ecosystem and outside the Solana ecosystem. So it's this guy here. A lot of people go by pseudonyms. I just wasn't able to find out what his actual name was. Maybe one of you would be able to. And if you can find out his name, maybe leave it in the comments down below, because I'd be intrigued to hear what it is. What's important is that this guy is clearly not hiding. He's out there doing interviews, and if one of you has more time than myself to put into this, then maybe one of you out there will be able to find his name. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I ran out of time on this video. But the good thing is he is out there. They're not hiding in the shadows. Another thing that's important with Jupiter's history is that there is a close link with another platform, this platform behind me, which is Meteora. And the link goes back several years, but it goes back to a platform that was originally called Mercurial. And here we have the founder on Reddit, Meow, and he's talking about this close relationship. And he says, yes, we were Mercurial. So that was the original platform. Then we started Jupiter as a new project and then transitioned Mercurial, I think that's meant to say, to Meteora in February of 2023, so last year. We were always extremely open about it from the beginning and never stopped working hard for the sake of MER stakeholders. MER being the native token of Mercurial. And there was a little bit of controversy based on what I've seen around this, in that Mercurial didn't do very well as a project, therefore its native token, MER, didn't do very well. And many MER stakeholders felt let down that they had then transitioned to Jupiter and Meteora. However, as part of the snapshot for the first airdrop for Jupiter, a lot of MER holders were airdropped Jupiter tokens to make up for that. Anyway, there is a whole history there that is worth knowing, and what's also important to know is that now the same developers behind Jupiter are also the same developers behind Meteora. And then going back to Jupiter, after the exchange was launched in 2021, the exchange took 2 years before it was announced that it would complete its first airdrop of the native token, which ended up being JUP, which eventually took place this year on January the 31st, 2024. And that token, JUP, is the native utility and governance token of the Jupiter exchange. So those holding JUP can vote on Jupiter's development direction, and it can also be staked in the Jupiter application to get access to rewards and future token airdrops. Now, in terms of Jupiter's tokenomics, the market cap of the JUP token currently stands at $927 million. And at the time of filming this, we are in a bit of a market crash, so it was slightly higher than this. Only a couple of days ago, it was above 1.5 billion, as you can see on the screen here. Now, there are 10 billion JUP tokens in total, and only 1.35 billion are currently in circulation. So 13.5% are currently in circulation. There are set to be another 3 JUP airdrops over the next 3 years, which will distribute a further 30% of the supply for JUP. Then, in addition to that, 50% of the supply is managed by the team, and 20% of that 50%, which is 10% of the token's overall supply, is going to be vested by the team in January of 2026. And then finally, as for price, we can see that it was launched earlier this year. We had a big early initial run-up. Actually, we had a big early initial dump and then a run-up into the March, April highs. And then ever since then, it has been trending lower. And now we come to the upsides and risks section of Jupiter and the JUP token. What are the things that could drive the price of JUP higher, and what are the things that could knock the price of JUP down? We need to weigh up both sides of this argument. And starting with the upsides, Jupiter currently accounts for the largest share of trading volume taking place on the Solana ecosystem. We can see that in this chart here. This means JUP is likely one of the most sought after DEX tokens at this moment in time. If Jupiter can maintain that number one spot, demand for JUP could grow in the future. Secondly, some of the best projects in the industry are the ones that are generating revenue, and the generation of revenue comes from fees. And we've got the fees chart here behind me for Jupiter. And as we can see, this goes back to October 2023, and we can see it ramping up. We can then see it plateauing or peaking out in April, March, and then it's averaged around the $20 million mark for the past 5 months, which is really, really good to see and a promising sign. Another thing that's been on the rise is the total value locked inside the Jupiter exchange. Although we've got a shorter time horizon here on DeFi Llama, we can see that it has continually climbed since the start of the year, and not just in dollar terms, but also in Solana terms, which means that more native tokens are being locked onto the Jupiter exchange, which is exactly what you want to see for a growing ecosystem. Next, back in 2021, DEXs came out as a winning niche during the previous cycle. So the likes of Uniswap, SushiSwap, PancakeSwap all put in massive returns. Does Jupiter offer something better than historic versions of other DEXs? And the answer to that would be yes. There is so much more functionality that Jupiter offers that it is a step up, and therefore could be this cycle's go-to choice. And if you look at the past trading activity for Uniswap, we can see that it was way down in 2020 and then skyrocketed higher throughout 2021. Jupiter is offering something different, something better, so it could become the go-to choice for this bull cycle. And then finally, sticking with that theme, comparing like for like, because we can do that here because they are DEXs. When you compare the market cap of Jupiter with the market cap of Uniswap, with the market cap of Uni now, the price of Jupiter would equal a 3.92x if the market cap of Jupiter went up to meet the market cap of Uniswap. At Uniswap's all-time highs, however, the price of JUP, the native token, would jump by 24x. So that's if it commands a similar market cap, to Uniswap. Now, however, we come to the risks. It's not all clear sailing for Jupiter. And to start that off, I want to talk about the competition that's in the Solana ecosystem. Going back briefly to this chart, this shows that Jupiter is not alone in the race to dominate the Solana ecosystem. We have the likes of Orca, we have the likes of Radium, and it's Radium that most recently has posed the biggest threat in terms of market share. And it has been continually growing since May. The market share of Radium has been growing. That's in the purple here. Most recently, however, that has shrunk quite a large amount. So this is a variable thing. It's not a consistent trend. But in the past, Radium has been the biggest threat to Jupiter, and it has captured some of Jupiter's market share. So keeping an eye on market share is something that I would do if I ended up being an investor in the JUP token. Now, another thing to take into account is that because of the buzz around the Jupiter airdrop earlier this year, with so much hype, the coin was already listed on all of the major exchanges. So this means in the future there are no easy wins such as the listing pumps that you get with some coins. And then finally, we need to talk about one of the biggest risks, which is the future dilution of the JUP token. And it's going to be a problem for long-term holders. So only 13.5% of JUP tokens are currently in circulation. I already mentioned that. And although future airdrops are spaced out and team members can't sell until February or early of 2026, this is definitely another token that you do not want to be holding as we head into the next bear market, because there is so much inflation coming into the market that demand is extremely unlikely to keep pace. And there we have it. That is everything that I have on the Jupiter exchange and the native token JUP. Should it be the one that you choose to gain exposure to a beta play within the Solana ecosystem? All of these thoughts I share with my 80/20 newsletter subscribers. So if you do want my own opinions on these altcoins, that is the place to head to. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the link to that is in the description down below. I think the Jupiter exchange is a step up from the likes of the 2021 DEXs that we know and have used, Uniswap, SushiSwap, and others that are out there, PancakeSwap. There are so many DEXs, but I think in 2024 now, as we head into this and this existing bull cycle, that there is a new wave of development in DeFi. This could be categorized as DeFi 2.0. These are these new DEXs. They offer much more functionality and much more user friendliness. They are much more user friendly than competitors in the space, and therefore could encourage more adoption of the technology. With the price of Jupiter now down back as low as it was when it was first airdropped earlier in the year, I'll be really interested to see where the price of JUP heads next, and especially if the Solana ecosystem and the adoption of the Solana ecosystem continues along the trend it is currently on. All that's left for me to say is thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you found some value out of it, and I will see you in the next one.